look, long story short, this video is about how I think that so many people in the world right now just don't really think about having children deeply enough before they do, and what consequence it will have on their life being brought into this world of consumerism, world of 9 to 5 wage slavery, and indoctrinating them from a very young age with it. And I just think it goes so much deeper than a lot of people imagine. I think the problem is there's so many people who aren't aware of this system and this world that we live in before they have children, and then when they go to have the children, they are unknowingly, giving them all of this propaganda and information and allowing them, to be indoctrinated into the system in a way, so if you will, just going through all the schools and being told just to be a good kid and listen and be quiet and crack on with their stuff, to then, growing up and having a 9 to 5 job, working for 40 years of their life, just doing, in most cases, jobs which they don't like, jobs which don't fulfill them, because it's a 9 to 5 brain-numbing job in which you have to sit and do nothing that you enjoy, nothing that fulfills you, nothing that you're really passionate about. And a lot of people out there will lie to themselves and will tell themselves that they are passionate about their job, and they do like their job. And I think, and I don't blame them, I don't blame those people, because I understand it's what being conned by the system is like. It's only recently that I've discovered what this whole system, what this whole fucking matrix bullshit is like, and it had been for very, very many years. I'm 25 in a couple of months, and it's only been the last maybe year that I've discovered this, and I've gone through some pretty drastic changes in my life, like minimalism, and just stop giving so much shit about all of this 9 to 5 wage slavery and money in general. I actually really don't even like the idea of money anymore. Like, I couldn't care less. It's not even like I hate it or have any sort of emotion towards it. I just don't give a shit. Like, I just could not care less. It doesn't, like, as long as you have a small amount that you need, that everyone needs to be able to, I think we're so tied to these materialistic objects. I think that we think that human beings really need a lot more than they actually do to be able to survive and to be happy. It's all just excess materialism, excess consumerism, which is all going to end up in a landfill eventually anyway. So who actually gives a shit in the grand scheme of things in this 70 or 80 years that you might get on this planet? Use it wisely. Time is your number one thing which you'll ever get in your life. Use it wisely, because no one will give you that back. You can be a billionaire, you still won't be able to buy that back. So don't trade it for some 9 to 5 slavery and making some other elite rich and yourself poor in the process. Because I know so many people that are stuck in this 9 to 5 wage slavery, and they've been doing it for so many years, and they're such a former shell of themselves, and they're still poor, and they're still just about barely getting by and paying their bills, and it's horrible. And I think there's alternative ways to living in this world, and you don't have to be a part of the system to have a good, fulfilling, happy life, right? So I think the other point is, like, suffering in the world. There's so much suffering, like growing up in poverty, or growing up in a country that has horrible inequality, like Britain nowadays, for example. The inequality in this country is awful, and it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. But think about the countries that are already where Britain will be in 10 years' time if nothing changes, like Brazil, like India, like, I don't know, Sri Lanka, like all of these places. It's maybe Thailand, Vietnam, where the poverty is horrible. And yes, there are some emerging markets among these countries, but that's only for the rich elites. That's not for the real people. Any economic gain of a country isn't for the real people. The politicians don't give a shit about you. They just care about the votes. They just care about staying in power. They just care about having that ability to con people into believing whatever they say, because they will say whatever they need to say to win that conversation, to win your votes, to win your number. And yeah, I think, what was my point? I've completely lost my point. I'm just rambling on. And yeah, I think there's so many selfish parental, reasons. I think so many people will have kids just because it's the societal norm, and just because, even when I was young and I was naive, and before I knew how this world worked and how money worked and how consumerism worked and all of this bullshit, I think I wanted to have a family. I wanted to have a wife that I'd be married to and have, 2 kids at least, a boy and a girl, and all of this stuff. And as I was getting older and older, I've really quickly sobered up and realised that it isn't all sunshine and roses, and there are a lot of societal problems like the inequality, like poverty amongst people, like the rich elites owning and controlling your lives through wage slavery, and people are, trading more than half of their lives for financial gain, for selfish reasons, for societal status, or for showing off, or social media and what that does to people as well. Like, that's another toxic loop as well. I mean, it's horrible propaganda on people, brain numbing, literally brain rot. And I will probably make a video on this specifically, because I've actually quit social media for nearly 3 months now, and I feel better than ever. Obviously, I understand YouTube still is a social media, but it's the form of social media that I can accept and I'm happy living with myself, because it provides a lot of learnings and a lot of interesting stuff, documentaries and videos about in-depth videos about football and Matrix and other motivation of life and travel, etc. So there's a lot you can learn on there. But I think there is other social media which has been over the years used to con people into believing certain things, like, for example, body standards of humans. Most of these fitness influencers that are there at saying that they care about you, they care about your health, and they want, in reality, they just want your money. They just care about your money. That's all they care about. So they'll say whatever they need to say, just like politicians, to get your money. And to sell their bullshit product, and to sell their, protein bar, or to sell their protein shake, or their wrist wraps, or whatever. They don't really care. They just care about the money. They are the part of the matrix, part of the system. So be extremely careful about who you listen to on YouTube. And I'm not advocating saying I'm perfect or whatever, but I try and be self-aware, and then try and be aware of what I'm saying and how I'm living my life, and not just being, do as I say, not as I do, but actually trying to preach, or trying to practice what I preach, right? But regardless, the human mind is so easily influenced. Be very careful about what you listen to and what you do with your time and where you invest it, because it's so easily influenced on money and body image and etc. Because, like I say, of all these influencers who have roided up above their head and pretending to be natural, and skewing people's minds and their beliefs and their views on what a really human body even looks like anymore. I think the standards and the beliefs of people are unbelievable. I think it's almost like a cartoon at this point, where people just can't tell what's the difference between reality and what steroids. Like, the lines are so blurred at this point, and they're blended so much with people enhancing their bodies with chemicals that destroy their bodies, and that they will 100% regret. Because there's so many people in my life that I've met at the gym, some great friends that I've made over the years, which used to take steroids as well in their young age, and they're now in their late 40s, mid 40s or 50s, even some in their late 30s, mid 30s, and they 100% already regret it. They say their body, their joints are a bit weaker because they were able to push a lot more weight. Obviously their skin, they could have gyno, they got some digestive problems, and they've got some, some of them could have some liver damage, etc. They've got problem with their health, and they've got new allergies and new things that have popped up into their life. And so be very, very careful about what you do with that. I know this is a very off-topic ramble, and I will make a video on this specifically as well. Be very careful about what you put into your body. No one's going to give you your health back. That's another thing which you can buy for money, and be extremely careful about it and cherish it, and don't take it for granted. Be grateful, because at the moment right now I've got a sprained ankle, which I sprained playing football last week, and literally I couldn't do a leg day at the gym, or couldn't even properly walk bending my ankle for a couple of days. And it really wakes you up and starts to get you to the point where you don't take it for granted anymore, to take health for granted. I know this is nothing, insignificant little silly injury, but every single reflection on life, in your life, can be great, and you can learn everything from every little experience. It doesn't have to be anything massive. Like, come on, do you know what I mean? We live normal lives. Like, we aren't these elites, millionaires that just, move their banks offshore, fucking robbing people's money. Like, we just live a normal life, so we have to take learning from every little situation, basically, whatever, right? And I think way too many people don't understand this system, this matrix, this world that we're living, and are still Not because they're stupid or anything, but because they choose not to understand. Because I think it's very easy to stay stuck in a bubble of 9 to 5 matrix and doing a meaningless task with your hands for 9 hours every day, and going back to your borrowed house in your borrowed car and living your borrowed life. And it's easy, and I don't ridicule these people. I've got no bad word to say about them, because I understand it's not even their decision, and in a lot of cases they don't even realise it's their decision. Like the people that will could literally fight you to defend their 9 to 5 job. I don't understand that. It's and it does annoy me sometimes when people choose to be blind, and despite all of these factual evidence being there and all of this reality being there with inequality rising. Just go and look at Gary's economics channel, for example, and he'll tell you exactly what's going on. Probably a lot better than I do, because I'm here just waffling and rambling. He's actually got the statistics and the numbers from the Curated AZ in his matrix. But I think a lot of people don't know about the background of this stuff, and I will go even more in depth into this 100%. And they decide to have kids, and then unknowingly they push that down the throats of their kids, literally, because they put them into school, they live their borrowed life, they always complain about money, they always argue about it and all this bullshit. They let it control their lives. Most people let the money control their lives and their work and their job and everything, and live. There's so many, and it's so sad. There's so many people that I know that literally their job, their work is their life, and it's so incredibly sad. And I couldn't imagine being like that, because I don't know, I just don't know what to say. I have no words in it. I just think you're sacrificing so many years of your life for benefit of someone else, for financial gain of someone else, and even who cares about the money, but you're sacrificing yourself not even for yourself and for financial gain of yourself, but for someone else to line their pockets, and they just give you the bare minimum, and you just survive off of the bare minimum, and then whatever the country, whatever the government, whoever the powers to be are in control, take your money away and make your money less powerful, year by year, day by day, month by month. I see food going up and things going up every single day. I keep an eye on this stuff. I keep an eye on the economy and politics, and I'm seeing where the world is heading. And unless we start connecting and be nice to each other, nothing's going to change. We have to stop comparing ourselves to others and start being compassionate and helping each other, innit? So yeah, I think selfish parental reasons sometimes. I think I understand that it is nice having kids, and you just want to have something cute, and you just want to, be able to look after someone and have that, be able to almost live your life through them in a way. I get it, and I can't fully give my opinion on this because I haven't got kids, and as you can see by the title, I'm probably not going to have kids for these reasons. And I understand you say never, but there's so many people as well that are in tough financial positions, and especially in this country, for example, now, could give you that for an instance, and the things are going to get tougher and things are going to get worse, and people are still having children around the world, and I'm so surprised how can you be in a tough. I understand you don't need money to live a great life, don't get me wrong, but there's people struggling and suffering and living on the streets and still having kids, and I'm just sort of like, are you taking on that burden and the responsibility of what are you going to tell your child when it asks you, when it grows up, why you brought me into this world, into this poverty, into this horrible situation? Do you know what I mean? I know, because someone has to take responsibility for that. If you think about it, we have to start being accountable for our actions. Even in traffic, driving around, someone makes a mistake, and then you just look at them and be like, come on, man. Because I don't even sound my horn anymore, because what's the point? Because so many people just drive all over the place these days, not taking accountability for their actions. It will almost be a waste of my own energy, sounding my horn and getting angry. So I don't even care anymore. But when I sort of just look at them and be like, "You all right?" And then they don't even thank, they don't even apologise. So they just look back and be like, "Oh, fuck off," you know what I mean? And it's like, if I make a mistake, I own up for it, because we're humans. We make mistakes. We make so many mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes. And it's not about not making a mistake. It's about learning from the mistakes that you make. So I think sometimes this whole notion of people needing to have children and needing to have children to be fully successful in life, and I think there's so many people that have had children and try and tell other people, oh, you definitely want children, almost like pushing it down them, like trying to convince them. And there's a hell of a lot of people who are unsure about it, and they do have children. And I mean, just have a look for yourself online. I'm not just making this up. I'm actually saying this from the research that I've done for this video. And so many people that are like regretting it, just saying that it completely changed them as a person. They can't even remember who they are anymore. It ruined their sleep and made them an insomniac. It, you know, yeah, like you don't know who your child is going to be and how he's going to grow up. Like you can influence it in a good way and try and do what you can with the tools that you have, because I understand that a lot of people, again, don't understand the situation that they're in this world, the position that we are in as the consumer, as the cogwheel in the machine contributing. And the fact that, you know, if a child is born and you're not aware of the system, you're basically just giving the only reason that children are born, technically, if you break it down, if you think about it, is to contribute to society. So the human race doesn't die out, so there's people working, so the rich elite can keep getting richer, and we can, you know, keep dying in factories and stuff. Like, if you think about it, it's horrible, and it's actually crazy, but that's just how it is. Like, statistically, factually, it's how it is. I mean, look at developing countries and what's going on there. You know, if we don't realise this is going to be going on in Western Europe and America and everywhere, because it already has happened. Charles Dickens times, do you know what I mean? Like, it already has happened. Could happen again. I just realised I was sat down like a hunchback most of the video. I hope I don't look like him now as well, because yeah, to be honest, that wouldn't make any difference these days. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, yeah, I just sometimes feel like society is conning people into having children without doing prior research, and a lot of people who are ill-informed and haven't done their research and haven't really deeply, but truly deeply thought about these things, about these societal questions, about these life questions, and have gone through their, you know, spiritual awakening, so to speak, maybe. Because, do you know what? Yeah, I don't care. I'll call it that. You know, I've gone through my spiritual awakening in the last 6 months, and fucking hell, is the life different? Does it change the outlook on the world and how the money's made, and money, and just people, and what drives people, and the way people will treat you in certain situations and circumstances. And you can learn from every situation, and you can use it to your benefit, just like you can use any tool, anything in the world for your benefit. You can, because people have done it before, and you can. Just be creative. Don't let this 9-to-5 wage slavery sap it out of you. Don't let it take away your energy and your creativity, because it's very easy to get stuck in it and be sat there for 9 hours and just be like, oh, well, I'm making money with time that otherwise I couldn't sell. But you could sell. You could make, like, having a work and having a job is two different things. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that having this 9-to-5 wage slavery job is the only thing you can do in your life, because it isn't. There's so many other alternatives which you can do, like van life, like living off grid, like moving to a different country, like self-sustainable life and minimalism, and there's so many different things which you can do. So don't ever think that you're trapped, because you're not. It is all your decision how you want to live your life. So live your life the way you would want to look back on and say, I don't regret this. You know what I mean? So, like I always say, live every day as if it was your last. And on that note, let me know what you think of this video in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on this topic, because it's quite a thought-provocative topic, I reckon. Yeah, let me know what other topics you want me to make a video on. I've got another video cooking in the pipeline, which is very, very interesting and exciting. And it's about my body transformation that I've actually gone through in this past year, but specifically in the last 7 to 8 months. And I'm going to show you before and after pictures and talk about nutrition, and we're going to talk about like workouts and techniques and things that I've learned to make your life easier if you want to go through the same thing, because we can all go through it. It's so easy and simple. It's actually mind-blowing how more people don't go through it, because yes, it does, you know, yes, it does require some discipline, and yes, it does require some mental toughness, but it doesn't take that long, and it's not that hard. You can change completely like I have, like anyone can. Do you know what I mean? So let me know what you think of this video in the comment section below. Once again, leave a like if you like it, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more deep topics and more slightly high production content, because I want to take this content up even further, and I want to get some GoPros involved and some clip-on mics to bring up the audio quality, because at the moment I'm still recording on my earphones, as you understand probably. So yeah, have a good day, enjoy yourself, and I'll see you soon.